My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramer. I'll be able to make friends. I'm just trying to help you make some money. My job is not just to entertain you, but to educate and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. This is a huge week for corporate earnings. But lurking under everything is the Labor Department's non-farm payroll report on Friday. If it shows some job growth with no wage inflation, then the fabulous July rally can stand. But if it shows booming hiring with exceptionally large wage increases, then some of this rally, if not much of it, is going to be repealed. Maybe that's why the averages did go nowhere today. Dow dipping 47 points, S&P declining 0.28%, NASDAQ edging down 0.18%, but the Dow was down a lot more at one point. So with that in mind, let's get there. Let's go to the game plan. Of course, we're starting on Friday because of the non-farm labor report. A hot number, like I said, is just a disaster because the Fed may have to slam the brakes on the economy. Even hitting us with an intra-meeting rate hike. My biggest fear, an intra-meeting rate hike in August, because they don't meet in August. But a number that shows even a hint of weakness gives the Fed an excuse to sit on its hands, which is what we want. Why? Buy. But first, let's get through the cacophony of earnings. We're starting with Caterpillar tomorrow, which happens to be on Squawk on the Street. This stock's been red hot lately, so we'll listen closely to what is going to be said, because we have Jim Umpleby, the CEO. It is a rare appearance for him. I think this is a new cat, stronger than ever. But that's what the times demand. Is Umpleby up to it? I think he is. Now, we're also going to hear from another challenge company, Uber, which gets more attention than it should. But people are going out more than ever. I think this company will always struggle to make money until we get real self-driving cars. But everybody's interested in Uber. You're interested in Uber. And then there's one that only I'm interested in, unless you're at a bar. And I think you should think about it. I'm talking about Molson Coors. This is my favorite alcohol stock after Constellation Brands, which is Corona and Modelo. Molson Coors has a real turnaround going on, as you'll see tomorrow. I think that this is an exciting stock that can go up over time. After the close, we find out how AMD is doing. I think the answer is pretty darn well, considering that arch rival Intel seems to have missed an entire product cycle for high-performance computing. Wall Street's worried about AMD's gaming and PC exposure. Both are negative, but they could be offset by the recent Xilinx acquisition, which got aerospace, a lot of things that I would just, some defense, Internet of Things. I'm betting AMD's going to have a strong number. Now, get this. Howard Schultz is back and at the temporary helm of Starbucks. I don't know how quickly Howard can work his magic, but I want to bet with him, not against him, because it's always been right to bet with him. We'll see how much progress has been made when they report tomorrow night. I'm actually expecting good numbers. Next, we know people are traveling. But where are they staying? Oh, boy. This is just the clash of traditional versus 21st century. In the morning, Marriott reports. Then after the close, Airbnb weighs in. I bet both are doing well. But here's what's most important. Can Airbnb turn its huge cash flow into actual earnings? If it doesn't, the stock can't go up. Hey, what does Warren Buffett see with his endless purchases of Occidental Petroleum, Oxy? Judging by the heinous action of the oil stocks today, one of the worst I've ever seen, it better be something very long-term. But Oxy should nevertheless do a good number tomorrow evening just because of the price of oil. Meanwhile, one of the most enduring themes of the COVID era was addiction to video games. Electronic Arts reports Tuesday night, and I bet they do well. But it might not matter because gaming is now out of style on the Wall Street fashion show more than I have ever seen it. Jetblue tells us how it's doing, too. And they'll likely try to explain why their attempt to acquire Spirit Airlines isn't really anti-competitive. I admire the chutzpah, but I'm pretty confident the Justice Department will try to block it. I just don't see this one happening. JetBlue refuses to stop, though, and they will appeal any attempt by Justice to derail the deal. I know they'll try to solve the antitrust issue by trading Gates to some other company, but that's not going to be enough with Biden's antitrust division. One more in this long day, PayPal. Now, this one's been such a poor performer that it's attracted the attention of Elliott Management, the massive activist hedge fund that's very good at pushing executives around. If PayPal misses again, this is Elliott's ball game, not unlike what we saw with Pinterest tonight. Hey, can you imagine those two really getting together? I know it was talked about at one time. On Wednesday, all right, here we go. More names. This is what's so cool about this week. We all know PayPal, Airbnb, we stayed, Starbucks, Molescore. These are all well-known names. That's what makes it so I love this business so much. These are all names you know, including CVS Health. And I expect a really good number. But what I got to have them address this. They got to address the theft thing. Going to a drugstore is so horrendous these days with all that merchandise under lock and key because of rampant stealing that I now get my toothpaste and shaving cream from Amazon. It is faster than ringing that bell. You know, I need help, I need help. What the heck is that? All right, now, what? Humor me. Next, Moderna. What will they do with all that vaccine money? It's a big question. They're now truly loaded, but people don't like it if it's just a vaccine. They want something else besides a COVID vaccine. I wish they'd buy some down-and-out biotechs with good pipelines and merge them all together. That would make them into a major. Also in the morning, we hear from another one that everybody knows, Yum Brands. And I bet they can put up big numbers. Not unlike what we saw from Chipotle and McDonald's. I like KFC, the stores, but also the food. I think it's really good. It's a little greasy, but I like it. Taco Bell is okay. Pizza Hut's been disappointing. I think this group is showing real strength, which confuses the myriad bears of the world who love to bet against the restaurants. I think they're wrong. These are strong companies that have taken a lot of market share from the poor mom and pops who didn't make it through COVID. Hey, here's one kind of a Shakespearean question. When will the turmoil at Under Armour end? Kevin Plank, the founder's back. Well, he can't stay away, can he? After the CEO was let go in May, I love the term let go. But this stock remains unloved as a potential turnaround play. Any good news would move it higher from its $9 perch. But I can't think of any good news. Tough time for apparel. After the close, Clorox reports. Now, this stock looks like it's putting in a serious bottom here. Clorox could be ready to roar because its price increases seem to be sticking. Right as raw costs are coming down, can you imagine? This is exactly what you want. This is Nirvana. It happened to General Mills. It could happen to Kellogg. It's your raw costs go down, but you raise your prices and then you don't cut your prices, right? Isn't that what happens? Clorox could be the test case. Hershey and General Mills are really the knowledge leaders in packaged foods, but maybe Clorox's time has come. Thursday, we are going to find out how great Lilly really is with that drug that reduces weight and also helps you with diabetes. I hear it's crushing the numbers, crushing them. Now, there was a time when the stock traded on Alzheimer data, but they've become very tight-lipped about that story, no matter how many times I badger them, and I badger them endlessly. I think the weight loss drug is enough for Lilly to shine. It is a Gigunda position by Charitable Trust, and we're going to be offering wall-to-wall coverage for the CNBC Investing Club. Don't forget, we have our monthly meeting, which is always fun, always a lot of self-flagellation, because that's just who I am, a complete masochist. Now, I want to see the reaction to Conoco's numbers, too. Because, well, obviously Devon, which is a huge position for the Charitable Trust, had an amazing quarter today. Huge boost, the already enormous dividend, and nobody cared because oil was down nearly 5%. Matter of fact, the stock finished lower. I think crude can bounce back a bit, but the weak industrial numbers in China and Europe are really starting to hurt the fossil fuel complex. By the way, oil's decline today caused interest rates to plummet, a sign that the general economy is in retreat, even though I'm the only one who believes that. What else? Americans keep buying Chinese stocks no matter what. No matter what the Chinese do, we can't stop ourselves. And the best example is Alibaba. I don't trust any of these stocks, but I know from Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, by the way, that 618, that big Chinese consumption holiday, was gigantic for them. If I could trust China's government, I'd love to recommend Alibaba to you, but I'd rather pass on what could be a very good quarter. China's a Communist Party. It's called a risk factor. After the close, in a deal that's so filled with hubris, it's frightening, Warner Brothers Discovery reports, and it'll be anxiously watched given its gigantic debt load. Will Warner sell an asset to lighten the burden? Are there shutdowns coming, or do they just intend to muddle through? I think they're going to try to do the latter. We'll also see how richly valued stocks are doing when Twilio reports. Now, last few times it's reported, sellers just jumped all over it. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a pathetic thing that they hate this thing so much. Good company. The stock has been crushed like the rest of the cloud software cohort. If Twilio can bounce, that will be the signal that the bear market in cloud computing, which has seemed to go on now for 8 months, is ending. But right now,
the House of Pain
is where Twilio lives, and so do you if you're a shareholder. Hey, speaking of tough ones, can Doordash pull itself out of that tailspin that's brought the stock down more than 70% from its highs, which is a lot? I don't know, as the competition's still heating up. But I think Doordash's $28 billion valuation, I'm calling it too high to justify. Friday, Goodyear reports, and this got a valuation that's too low to justify. Now, the last quarter was widely panned. The stock's been cut in half. I think it seems interesting. As does DraftKings going into football season. Massachusetts just legalized gambling. To be successful, though, DraftKings pretty much needs every state to follow in their footsteps, and they have to have a lot of groups get together and bet against each other, which they've not done. Now, finally, I put this in, I don't know, for the cannabis aficionados, basically. Canopy Growth. It's a cannabis company that's majority owned by the Constellation Brands, STZ, which I mentioned earlier. I like more than Molson Coors. Now, Canopy has been about as disappointing as the stock has ever been, even though everyone tells me that it's a lot of fun to be involved with their product. I would not know. Now, it's time to see how money can be made, because they have this woman named Judy Hong, who used to be a powerhouse at Goldman Sachs. She's now the CFO. I don't know if anything good can happen here, but if they just stop the bleeding, you might have some upside. And if they could just figure out how to have the proof when you have one of those, say a can of cannabis like beer or something, we just can't figure out what the proof should be. And that's the police are very upset about that because they don't know how to say whether you're drunk or not. Anyway, here's the bottom line. That's actually a true story. Can you believe it? The bottom line, no matter what, it's the employment number coming out at 8:30 a.m. Friday that matters. Everything else pales in comparison, including the pale ale of Molson Coors. Couldn't resist. The inflation picture is the whole ball game. I want to take questions. I say we take questions. Nicholas in Illinois. Nicholas.
Good evening, Mr. Cramer. Thank you for taking my call tonight.
My pleasure. How are you, Nicholas?
I'm doing well, thank you. Actually,
Good.
Today is the first day of my retirement.
Oh, hey, how can I help you make money in retirement? Let's go to work.
So, I've been watching your show for a little more than 10 years now, and I would like to thank you and all you do for you and your team for us out here. My question to you is, with a P of 3.5 and down a little more than 50% from recent highs, Macy's is now going to have Toys R Us in all of their stores. What would be your thoughts if I was to get in now and maybe hold on to it for, 6 months or a year?
Well, I have to tell you, I think that forget the Toys R Us because that's a lousy company. It'll be lousy outside of Macy's, be lousy inside of Macy's. I will tell you that I think the idea that this stock sells at this multiple is true, part and parcel of the bear market and all the apparel they have. It's almost as if they feel like they have to take a write-down. I would say that Jeff Gannett is worth investing in at $17. So I'm giving you the high sign. And congratulations on retiring, which will probably never happen to me as it never happened to my dad. All right, anyway, no matter what, it's the employment number that's coming out Friday that matters. Everything else pales in comparison. I made money tonight. The CHIPS and Science Act, you may know it as like the semiconductor thing, is on its way to the president's desk to be signed into law. And I'm learning more about the highly anticipated legislation with none other than the Commerce Secretary, Gina Raimondo. Boy, what a hero for America. Then, from rising commodity costs, supply chain concerns, AGCO continues to face a host of headwinds. But after reporting an earnings beat for the second quarter, I'm learning more about what drove the strength with the company's top brass, including a hacking that they didn't pay. Yes! Then travel's back in the bigger than ever. So how are the rental car companies working to meet customer demand? And how are they making so much darn money? I'm talking to the former CFO of Goldman Sachs, now CEO of Hertz. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.